What's up, guys? So today I'm gonna do a walkthrough of my hydroponic system. So I'm growing lettuce, and that one kind of bit the dust a little bit. It kind of fell down, but that's okay. These are doing pretty good. I don't have these holes filled right now, and this one it had died, and so I just replanted something else in there, and I got my grow light up there, and then here is my tank with my nutrient solution. I've got it covered up because a lot of dust flies out of here because I'm in a warehouse, and a lot of dust flies down, and this just helps keep it a little more clean in there so the system doesn't get clogged up. So I'm about to unplug this water because it trickles and it really gets on my nerves. Okay, so I got it unplugged. So I'm just going to kind of go through everything that I have right here, and I'll link it down in the description, every single thing that I have, because this is honestly a really easy setup. It took me, I just moved it, and it probably took me about 30 minutes to set all this stuff up. The hardest part is probably just screwing in these brackets, and I mean, you can do it however you want. If you want to put it like on a stand and have it slanted, it just needs to be slanted so that the water goes out of there. As you can see, all that water goes all the way down here and into this tank. So we'll start with the light. So I have this grow light. I actually got the lights off of a website. I got this bigger part, the bracket, from Home Depot, and got the light separately. So I'll link the description for the light, but honestly, I would go with a UV light instead. It is really expensive. Not really expensive, but it costs a lot of money to do it. But it honestly, it works a lot better in my opinion, and it'll kill bacteria, I'm pretty sure. So it's kind of like a 2-in-1, but I wish I would have went with a UV light, but I'll put both. I'll put a UV light, and I'll put the link to this light. So now we've got this pump. I actually had this pump. It's just a little fountain pump. I actually had this pump at my house. And honestly, it doesn't, don't quote me on this, it doesn't really matter what pump you use, as long as it'll pump water from here all the way back to up here. And I've got this tubing that I have it going. I've got it starting in there, and I've just kind of got it screwed against this right here, so it's just a little cleaner, and I've got it going in mine right here. So it doesn't matter what pump you use, just make sure that it's pumping enough to get it up to your system, because if this was down here on the ground, I've got it propped up for a reason, because if this was on the ground, it wouldn't be able to get water all the way up there, just because it's not a strong enough pump, just because it's a fountain pump. So go with a stronger pump. Usually I would go stronger than you think that you need, just in case. Instead of going less than you think that you need, I would just be safe and go a little bit more. Actually, the actual channel, the lettuce channel, it's actually called an NFT channel, and these little blocks that the lettuce is growing in, so these are rock wool cubes. So what you do is you start your seed. If you can see down in there, I've got a seed going. I think I put like 3 seeds in there, but you start it off like that, and then it'll end up like this. So I'll link this thing and the rock wool cubes in there. There's some different stuff that you can use besides rock wool. It was just the first thing I found and what I seen some people using, so that's what I picked. You can just search around, and if you find something different, by all means pick that. This is just what I use. I'm going to do a review over general hydroponics. they've got a kit of nutrient solution that you can buy on Amazon, and I'll link it down below for you guys to check out. So I've got all 3 of their bottles right here. This one, it's spilt, so I'm about to run out of that one. So I'll probably have to buy that one individually. But okay, so on these, it even has a chart on the back that tells you exactly how much to put. So I mean, if you're a beginner doing hydroponics, this is definitely the stuff to use, because on the back of every one of these bottles it has a chart. Try to focus in on that, and it says general purpose mild vegetation. That's what I use. I just use one teaspoon of all these per gallon. So the next thing I have this big tote. Honestly, if you can't go to Walmart or Kroger or Brookshire or anywhere, any store that you have in your town, and can't find a tote, then that's not good. I'll link it anyways, just in case you do want to order one off Amazon. I don't even know if you can order one off Amazon, but if I can find a link, I will link it. And I've just got water in here, and then I've got my nutrient solution. So one thing that I have in here, I actually have 2 of them, and they both read the same thing, 65 degrees. Temperature, this is what hydroponics is for, is so you can have a controlled environment. And right here, in here, it kind of stays pretty cool in here, as you can see. I live in Texas, and it says it's 65 degrees in here, which it is going into the winter, and it's fall, so it is pretty cold outside, but it stays, even in the summer, it stays about 70-ish in here. I would definitely, you don't have to get 2 thermometers. I would at least get 1 digital thermometer and put it near your setup. So if you need to put a heater or an air conditioner beside your system, so you know about what you're working with. Because if you're growing in a 90-degree room, then you're not going to be able to do lettuce. And if you're growing in a 30-degree room, you're not going to be able to grow tomatoes. So temperature matters. So that is all the materials that you need to build this exact system. So I'm just going to go through and show you how I built it, how I put it together. Dadgum, I just dropped that. So I'm going to show you how you build this exact system and everything that I did. Also, if you're not growing in your house or office or somewhere that you're going to be every day, even if you are going to be at this place every day, I strongly recommend getting a timer of some sort. It really helps. I put my light on a timer. I just keep my pump going all day because it just drizzles through there. But definitely get a timer, because you can't keep the grow lights on all day long. My timer is set up like that. If you want to do yours exactly like mine, go ahead. If you notice that your plants are getting burnt, then you might want to turn the timer on a little bit less of time. But it's all kind of just how you want to do it, and how it's just a lot of trial and error, and figure out what works for you, because what works for me might not work for you. And it depends the type of lettuce you grow, the type of plant you grow in general, if you do herbs, tomatoes, and all that. But this system is strictly set up for herbs and lettuce and anything that doesn't get bigger than about that big. So you can't grow tomatoes on this system. I will show you my tomato system in another video. So we're going to start with the tub in the water. So you're going to put 1 gallon in there. So put 1 gallon, start off with 1 gallon. Then with the general hydroponics kit that I showed you, you put 1 teaspoon of all 3 bottles in this per gallon. And that's for general vegetation. So if you'll look at the back of the chart, if you want to do it exactly how it says, and you want to be really descriptive with it, then you can put however many teaspoons it says. But I would just go at first, I would just put 1 teaspoon per gallon for the general vegetation. So I put 8 gallons in mine. You can fill it all the way to the top if you want, and you're going to have to refill it after about a month, because this stuff will evaporate and it'll seem like you just put water in there and go back to the bottom. So keep an eye on it. Make sure it doesn't get under your pump is the main thing, is that it doesn't get under the suck on your pump, because it'll probably ruin your pump and your plants won't get any water. So when you do add water, trust me, I've had people not do this before. When you add water, you add your nutrient solution with it. Anytime you're putting water in there, you're putting your nutrient solution. So for every gallon, you put 1 teaspoon of each three. So now we'll move on to the pump and the tube. The pump's pretty easy. All you do is just lay it down in there and make sure it's going on the bottom of this and not floating up, and get a tube that fits. I'll find a pump and a tube that fit together so that you can use both. But however you run your tube, I would just keep it kind of screwed up against something or taped, or however you want to do it, so that it doesn't pop out of this, because then you'll have water squirting everywhere and that's not good. I've got mine just down in this hole right here that I'm not using, and you can see it just goes down in there. So guys, for the tray, you see these 2x6s are already here, and what I did is I just got these L brackets and screwed these into this, and I'll link these L brackets if you want to do it just how I did mine. I'll link some L brackets, and all you do is you just screw it where you want and measure. So say this one is about this is probably about 5 foot off the ground, and then this one needs to be about 410. Just however much you need angled, because it's got to be angled from the start where the water comes in to the bottom. This has to be lower than that so the water drains through. So I've just got mine sitting on these L brackets right here. These L brackets are screwed into the 2x6s, and it just kind of sits up there. You might have to make sure that it stays even and stuff. You might have to put something under this, like shim it up or something, to make sure that it stays even, because you don't want all your water coming into this side and not even touching your rock wool in there. So when you've got your tray set up on your L brackets, or set up on a tray, or however you want to get it, however you want to set it up, whether you set it up on these L brackets, whether you put it on boxes, however works for you, you do it how you want. Customize it, personalize it, make it your own. I don't care if you paint this stuff, man. Make it look cool. Send me pictures of it. I'll leave my email. Send me videos or pictures of yours, and because I love looking at other people's projects and how they customize theirs and personalize them to make them theirs. So once you've got this tray or this channel set up on the L brackets, I'm just going to say the L brackets because that's how I'm doing mine. This lid, it just pops on. So I would go ahead and pop this on, and then to get these in, I just ripped my lettuce out. So to get these in, these rock wool cubes, you just kind of squish them together and stick them down in there. Sometimes your lettuce seed or lettuce is going to come out, or the rock wool is not going to go in there right. You're going to have about 5 different things to go wrong while you're setting this up. But don't let it affect you. Just put the seed back in there, or squish it around, or try to pick it up and make sure it sits up straight. However you need to do it. But I got mine in pretty good. You just got to make sure that they're pointed up and not pointed in there, because then the water will soak them and they won't grow and they'll rot out in there. So last thing is the light. So I've got my light. I don't know if you can see up there, but I've got something screwed up there to hold this, and I've got paracord tied, and it's tied this thing up. That way, if I need to lower this or raise it up, I would honestly use paracord. Just make sure that you tie it good, because these bulbs are not cheap, and if you bust one, it's not going to be good. So I would tie it really good, and that way if you need to lower it, raise it, you can do it however you need to. Or if you just want to screw, they've got the things on top where you can just screw it up to something really it doesn't matter how you do it. I've got mine paracorded so that I can drop it and lower it as I need to, but it honestly doesn't matter a whole lot. I would just use paracord that way, because if you screw it up there and it's too high, then you're going to have to figure out something different. You're going to have to raise your whole system up. So it's honestly easier to do paracord and just to let it hang like that, because it honestly doesn't move a whole lot. I mean, if you hit it, it's going to wiggle a little bit, but it doesn't move just a whole lot. Alright guys, that wraps it up for my hydroponic walkthrough and how my system is set up. Honestly, this is a really easy system to do, and if you need help, just send me an email. Alright guys, I'll see y'all next time. Bye.